Hello, this is My Sweet Mess, and welcome to my kitchen, where every week I make a mess trying new recipes in the pursuit of something sweet. This week I am excited to try a new to me recipe for OMG soft batch mini M&M and chocolate chip cookies from Kim at the Baking Chocolatess. I'll leave the original recipe link in the show notes below. Today, we're diving headfirst into this brand new cookie recipe that I've never tried before. Plus, I'm testing out different cookie dishers, but more on that later. Before we start mixing and baking, let's get started with our mise en place. Mise en place is a French term which translates to putting in place or everything in its place. This is a great step to add to your bake to help set you up for success. It's kind of the culinary version of cleaning a space before you start a DIY project. Oh no. So what you do is you measure and prep all your ingredients and tools before you start your bake. And this helps prevent that mid-bake panic when you realize you forgot to soften the butter or you're an egg short. And I've had both of those scenarios myself. Now that all of my ingredients are measured out, let's prep my equipment. I've got my stand mixer ready off to the side, or you can use a hand mixer, whatever you have handy. I'm also going to line some baking sheets. I've got 2 here. And on each of these, I will line it with parchment paper. For ease, I just crumple it up, lay my parchment paper down, and now it's lined. I also have cookie dishers. These are 2 different sizes, and I'm curious as to how big of a cookie each disher will make. I know the ounce sizes, but I'm a visual person, so seeing what each disher makes is super helpful for me. So each cookie size will go on its own tray. Makes sense? Awesome. Now that the equipment is prepped, let's move on to our bake. In a large mixing bowl, using either a stand mixer, an electric hand mixer, or good old elbow grease if you're feeling bold, I'm going to cream together the butter, sugar, and brown sugar until it's light and fluffy. I'll let this go for a few minutes on medium speed. There is a definite temptation to move on quickly, but I know my patience will be rewarded here. So I'm going to let this go for a couple minutes and then I'll be right back. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes and my butter and sugars look fluffy, so I'll go ahead and add in the egg and vanilla. If you're feeling fancy and you have it, you could also add butter extract here. I don't have any on hand, so I skipped that step. That looks well combined, so I can move on to adding in my dry ingredients. First, I'll add in the flour. I'm adding it in batches, stirring in between to make sure that the sides and the bottom of the bowl are well scraped down, but if you're feeling bold, you can add it all at once. Once all of the flour is incorporated, I will add in the instant vanilla pudding mix, baking soda, and salt. And then I'll let that mix on low speed until it's just combined. Beware of overmixing here, friends. We do not want to make cookie pucks, we want soft cookies. Once that looks just combined, I'll take the bowl off the mixer for the next step. Okay, now's the fun part. It is time to add in the mini chips and the mini M&Ms. Normally, I do not add in all of the mix-ins. This time I am, and it looks great. I love the color contrast of the M&Ms and the dough already. Transparently, I have saved some of the M&Ms to put on top of my cookies, but I assure you what is listed in the recipe will all end up being a part of my cookie in the end. Now, this part requires some patience and elbow grease as you fold in the chocolate. The dough is thick and the chocolate needs to be evenly distributed, so be patient and keep stirring until everything looks balanced to you. Once my dough looks good to me, it is time to start the experimentation. As I mentioned, I'm going to use different sized cookie dishers today. I have 2 different sizes. This is the large size. It is 3 tablespoons or about 1.5 ounces. These are really big cookies. Because they're so large, I'm going to leave about 2 inches of space in between each cookie because I know that they'll rise and expand as they bake. Next, I'll dish out the medium-sized cookies. It's a 2 tablespoon or 1 ounce disher. This is what I would consider a medium to large size cookie. Because these are a little bit smaller, I'm just going to leave an inch of space between each cookie. Now, before I move on, I'm going to help shape them up a little bit to make sure they're as uniform as possible by using my impeccably clean hands and just rolling them into balls. Once they look good, I'll cover them and put them in the fridge to chill. I like to chill my cookie dough before I put it in the oven just because I think it helps enhance the flavor a little bit, but if you want to go straight to the oven, by all means. Because there's quite a bit of dough left, I'm actually going to make a third tray using the smallest scoop. It is a 1 tablespoon scoop and makes about a 5 ounce cookie. And I'll do the same thing with this tray as I did with the others. So I'll scoop out the dough, roll it into balls, cover with plastic wrap, and let rest in the fridge. And that's it. That's all the dough used. So I'll see you back here in an hour or so. And I'm back. It's been almost 2 hours, so I'm going to let my dough rest on the counter for about 10 minutes before I put the cookies into the oven. You can put all of the trays in at once, but I'm going to put them in one at a time, just personal preference. First step is the small cookies at 1 tablespoon. Once the cookie is just golden around the edges and looks slightly underdone, I'll pull them out and let them cool on the cookie tray for about 10 minutes, then transfer them to the cooling rack. While my small cookies are cooling, I'll put my medium-sized cookies in the oven and then repeat this process for the medium-sized cookies and then the large cookies. Phew, that was a lot of cookies. My large cookies are cooling on the cooling rack, and I must admit, these all look and smell fantastic. Going back to my earlier comment, I'm a visual person, so for scale, I have a post-it note here. This is a standard size post-it. I wanted you to see how the different size cookies look compared to a post-it. So here's the small cookies using the 1 tablespoon scoop. It ends up a little bit smaller than a standard size post-it. The medium sized scoop, which is 2 tablespoons, is about the size of a standard size post-it. And the large cookie, which is a 3 tablespoon disher, is bigger than a standard size post-it. Now, I know the reference doesn't 100% match because cookies are circular and post-its are square, but hopefully this gives you a rough idea of what you can expect with these dishers and cookies. Anywho, enough chatting about post-its and dishers, it is time to taste. These cookies were a cinch to make. I love that all the ingredients go into one bowl as opposed to separating, sifting, combining. The pudding mix was a surprise ingredient for me, and I think it makes the cookies so soft and chewy. And I am very glad I used all the mix-ins. This is a super chocolatey cookie and I am here for it. I think these would be great for a family get-together, your next movie night, or honestly anytime. These are so delicious, colorful, fun, and festive. I cannot sing the praises of this cookie enough. Please like and subscribe and let me know your favorite cookie size. Hint, there is no wrong answer. Thank you so much for being with me here today. And remember, trying new things is messy, but the end result can be pretty sweet. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now.